Amazing people, what an exciting time to be on the planet. And thank you for being here right now. There are so many amazing things that are happening now and will continue to happen. And even looking back on the last few years, incredible shifts, things that have come into the light that have been hidden for hundreds and some of these things, thousands of years. And it's all coming into the light now. And some of it's shocking, some of it's difficult to process, but we came here for this. So this is one of the keys that I want to speak about, as well as I'm going to share some tools and concepts for elevating our frequency and the collective, because that's what we came here to do. Whether you remember or not, if you listen to any of the stuff that I share or any of the other wonderful people out there that, are not afraid to share truth, and they're sharing wisdom of how to heal, how to dismantle limiting beliefs, how to consciously and intentionally create your reality, manifest your desires without any limitations. I'm talking about we are truly unlimited. And yet, I don't know that many people that really begin their day. And I know they're out there, but this is what I'd like to share and invite. And if you're already doing it, high five, high 10. However, because of all the distractions out there, which they're pushing more than ever, it's really key to consciously and intentionally create our day first thing every morning. And you came here to share specific gifts that are your own unique gifts. And if you don't know what they are yet, or you're frustrated because you're working a job and you're not able to really do, hey Rob, great to see you. You feel stuck, that's okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. However, at any moment, you can shift that, because absolutely, brother, thank you. Yeah, we're bringing it, we're doing it. And so what I'd like to share first off is there's this monumental transition happening right now. And we are choosing, or we chose to come down here and go deep into the dark. Like, as far as I know, many other planets may have not done this before on this level. So there's apparently a lot of people or beings, energies watching what's going on down here. And I can guarantee you that they're cheering us on, and we're receiving a lot of assistance. So if you're one of those people that's in a tough situation right now, lack of money, health problems, unhappy, angry, whatever, it's okay. It may not make you happy to be in that situation right now, but you have everything to step out of it. Or you wouldn't have chosen to come here. There's no way we would have chosen to come here if we thought we were going to be completely 100% enslaved and, just chipped and, I won't go into it so this doesn't get taken down from YouTube or whatever. Hey, brother, great to see you too. Sean's in the house. Love you too, brother. Happy to see you. So let's talk about a couple of things, because sharing your gifts are key. You came here with them, and the goal is to give them away. And I understand that we're still in a monetary situation. So I have a book, I have a course, but I also come on and I share a lot of tools. I also do that in a private group on Facebook, which if anybody's interested in coming into that group, I'll post a link in here before I end this. So it's really about looking at, why would I have come here to be involved in what appears to be right now a monumental shit show. Okay? So that's the first hurdle, to just stop instead of being triggered and go, okay, if there's even a possibility that I did come here to do this, then what's my next step? And the next step is really raising our conscious awareness. It's really the only game in town. Raising our conscious awareness, clearing out limitations like the belief system, which is really a tiny prison. None of our beliefs are even our own. They all came from outside ourselves. And so to begin to question these things that we might normally become triggered by if somebody else presents a different perspective about politics or eating meat versus being a vegetarian, you know these things. And the key is to just go, instead of judging, which is the biggest addiction on the planet, if you are open to adopting this 3-word mantra, it'll change everything in your reality. And that 3-word mantra that I teach in the course and in the book is, isn't that interesting? And I would write that down or come back and watch this again if it's resonating with you. Isn't that interesting is 100% neutral. It's just sitting back and observing and going, that might seem evil, or that seems amazing, or whatever it is. But judgment is the biggest addiction on the planet. And not only will it keep us stuck in lower vibrational timelines, but it will attract more timelines to judge, because we are walking, talking, vibrating magnets. That's what this incredible vessel is. So the invitation is to become very, very aware. And I'm not saying none of you know this. It's just, I get messages from people and they say, thank you so much. I needed to hear that. The bottom line is right now, I'm talking to Jeff to remind Jeff. And I use these tools every single day, starting first thing in the morning when I awaken out of the sleeping dream. And I set my intention. And one of the things that I say is, how can I serve today? How can I serve today? After I do my morning gratitude and love on every one of the cells in my body, because they're aware, they're consciously aware. And speaking to them is huge. So if you don't do that, you may want to consider doing that. It raises your vibration, it brings you into your heart, and it helps you to heal and clear things. So, how can I serve today? The next thing that's really cool is when I'm lying in bed, and for the men, I'd like you to really tune into this, because women can be in their heart a lot easier. Men have been, we've had it tough over the last thousands of years or whatever, but that's not an excuse, because all that has already shifted. So when I'm lying in bed, the number one key that Jeff is playing with right now is self-love. I love Jeff. He's a good guy. He's kind, he's giving, he loves to share tools to uplift and inspire people. He's out there every day in Thailand helping the doggies with medicine and I'm not saying how great I am, but what I will tell you is that I was not loving myself as much as I love other people and all those beautiful wild jungle and street dogs and animals that are out there and all the flowers in Mother Nature. I'm constantly saying, I love you to every animal I see, every beautiful lotus flower, and there's millions of them here. There's thousands of dragonflies. And what I realized is when I began to do breath work sessions, that I was not loving on myself. There was a block, and that block was a few different pieces. And one of the main pieces was a judgment of, I'm still not good enough. No matter what I've done to help people to do things for the planet and animals, blah, 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 I still was carrying a wound from childhood that I still wasn't good enough. And this is a big one for most of the people that go through the mentorship, the 3-month, 90-day mentorship I take them through. This is not our fault, but it is key to really tuning into this and going, Do I really love myself? Not from a love and light, sparkly, I got my crystal collection. No. Am I willing to go deep into the pain and the trauma and heal? That's it. And 95% of the people on the planet are not ready to do that yet. Maybe not. Maybe it's only 70%. I don't know. But the last place that people really want to go is into the pain. And what I can tell you from doing these breathwork sessions, it is the most releasing and freeing thing ever to break down and cry, to scream it out, to go deep, to feel that stuff that I was holding against Jeff my entire life. And I did it this morning. Again, I did a 40-minute breath work. I broke down sobbing because I realized that I have been withholding love from the number one person in my reality that is so key to love, because everything's a mirror. So this is really key. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this. It's not their cup of tea. But I'm telling you right now, the stuff's going to come up. And the energies that are coming into the planet is going to basically force this stuff to come up. But you don't have to do it kicking and screaming. Hey, Nicole. It's just like, okay, I can feel that I haven't been loving on myself, or that I'm angry, or that I'm holding resentment towards somebody that did something to me. One of the biggest keys in healing is forgiveness. Forgiveness, especially for ourselves, but for anybody that you think did something to you. Your parents, an alcoholic father, somebody that might have abused you sexually, your best friend in school that stole your boyfriend, or people that laughed at you. Look, all this stuff was pre-planned by you before you came here. So every single thing that happened, no matter how crappy it might appear, that was part of the catalyst to get us to awaken and to return to love. So forgiveness. If you're holding any lack of forgiveness for anybody, write it down, write them a note, write them a letter. Even if they've passed on, write it in your journal. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Repeat it over and over and over. Yeah. Right on, brother. Yep. This is a huge one. Not good enough. I had the perfection mentality. No matter what I did, playing music, in life, teaching, in relationships, and I'm attracted to people that are doing the inner work and clearing, people that can have deep, conscious conversations. I'm not interested in speaking to people that can't go deep. And it's not like every conversation has to go deep. It's just that if we're creating our reality with every thought, every word, our vibrational frequency, and our gratitude and our imagination, then here's the key. How much of your day is spent focusing on your ideal timeline? Seeing it and feeling it is already here now. The abundance flows. And if like many people on the planet, like me all my life, money was difficult, money was hard. That's what I was taught. And I bought all these books on money and, Think and Grow Rich. It didn't work for me because I was still holding the subconscious belief underneath that came from my childhood and my upbringing. That was part of my soul contract. But once I was willing to go deep enough, I did this practice where I would go, okay, well, instead of being upset about what I don't have, why don't I flip the script and start focusing on every single thing that surrounds me in every moment? How's that for a game changer? The majority of people don't wake up in the morning and go, I'm so grateful that I have a toothbrush. I'm so grateful that I have a toilet. I'm so grateful that I have a shower. All these things that we take for granted, if you begin to focus on them, I've got a microphone, I've got a computer, I've got a pen, I've got some beautiful jewelry, I've got a flute, I've got guitars, I've got a bicycle, I've got food, I've got a clock, I've got lotion, I've got fuck, just on and on and on. I've got a beautiful home. I've got a beautiful yard. I've got a water fountain. All these things that the egoic mind takes for granted. You begin to start waking up in gratitude every single morning for this day and go, how can I serve today? And then when you go out, see how many people you can smile at and see how many people the ego goes, that person's not worth a smile, or I don't like the way they look, they're not beautiful, or they look like a bum on the side of the street. Every single person is you. So if you're still judging and not loving, and that doesn't mean you have to walk up to a gang member or somebody that might have some weird energy, but you can still bless them and love them. And all that comes back to you. It all comes back to you. So, yeah, if anybody has any questions, one of my mantras is, I know nothing. And we all know certain things, but I state that to my ego, Larry. So I'm always open for any one of my beliefs or my thoughts to be challenged and shifted. Always. Because if we can't allow our beliefs to be dismantled or shifted into something higher in the unlimited higher frequencies, we're going to stay stuck. We're not going anywhere. So challenging every single belief, which every one of them came from outside of us, is super, super key. And you're seeing how all this exposure is coming up about religion and science and how it's all been manipulated. Every single thing, the medical, it's the history. We've been lied to. And, people get into arguments about whether the earth is flat or round. I personally now think it's flat because they always show a round earth. And I know that they've inverted and they're lying about everything. And I've done tens of thousands of hours of what do you call it? I'm blanking on the word right now. But look, if that triggers you because I say it's flat, just observe and go, isn't that interesting? Because I'll tell you what, I can't prove 1,000,000% whether the earth is flat or round. But what I've seen in Antarctica and everything they're hiding, excuse me, in all these countries that signed treaties that agreed that they won't go there, but their top people can go there, they're hiding stuff from us. There's all these underground tunnels and bunkers and smuggling routes. And okay, so the bottom line is, are you willing to challenge? Yeah, that's it right there, man. That will change your life because Jeff used to be a frickin' judgeaholic. And I was taught how to do that in private Catholic schools when I was in second grade. And I could see, even when I was 7 years young, something was really wrong in the Catholic school. And I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I saw some things that were really bad, and it was Judgment Day every day with a little bit of love thrown in the background. And even then, I didn't know the first thing about conscious awareness or nothing. My internal guidance system, my intuition said, something's wrong here. And myself and my best friend used to always get in trouble because we challenged and questioned everything, and they didn't like it. And so now I challenge and I question everything. So, yeah. Do you have any anger to clear? Do you have any fears to clear? Yeah. So, I don't want to make this too long because some people may not want to watch something that's this long. This is a link to the private group if people are interested in coming into that. It's called the Waking Up in the Dream Activation Portal. And every month I journey with 3 or 4 people and I take them through a 3-month process. And that process includes this book and the daily tracking sheet over here. And I'm telling you, you begin to observe and track what the ego does, the judgments, the automatic reactions, the limiting beliefs. Journal this stuff out at the end of every day, spend 5 or 10 minutes on it, and I promise you, everything in your reality will change, because you will see on the very first day programs that have been running and running and running. And the ego feels justified. And the reason the ego feels justified is because when we have an automatic reaction, which I call the automatics, they just loop over and over and over unless they're seen and challenged and dismantled. And when there's an automatic reaction, there's also an emotional hit in the body that happens, whether it's a fear, a judgmental reaction, anger. And so what happens is the ego thinks that it's right because it just had this automatic emotional hit. It's not right, it's triggered. And when you begin to go through this process and see how the book teaches you step by step, it's simple. Even children go through this, 10 and 12-year-olds with their parents. And they pick up on it quicker than the parents because the parents have so much more conditioning. The children, to them, it's a game. They're like, well, this is cool. Let's begin to catch our judgments and our automatic reactions and our less than thoughts. And it's super, super powerful. So the book's on sale. It's super cheap, half price, $22. You can come into the group. You get the daily tracking sheet with it. And, you know, if you're really ready and willing to look at your stuff and go to the next level, this is the easiest, simplest way to do it. And I see it happen every month. So, yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you guys, and thanks for staying on here. Thanks to everybody that shares this stuff. If you feel like anybody would resonate with this, please feel free to share it. Here's the course with a quote underneath it. This is just one of the testimonials that, you know, Robert wrote after going through it, because it truly is the quickest way to identify these programs. And I've never found anything quicker. And, you know, that might sound like a sales pitch, but I stand behind it. And anybody that's interested in going through the process, reach out to me. I offer free calls to get on a call with somebody and just explore what's coming up for them. And I'm not trying to sell anybody, because there's 3 or 4 spots a month. If you're not 100% in, then it's not your time, because I don't want to pull anybody uphill. But if you come in, I give you everything I have, everything. And, you know, this is it. So thank you so much for your kind compliment. It takes one to know one. And, you know, every time I've been percolating on this live for about 48 hours now. And I came to do it yesterday, and I had all these issues with my streaming program and uploading images. And by the time I was done with customer support after an hour and a half, I was just like, I lost my whole vibe. So when I come on to do this, I kind of have to jump too, because, you know, this isn't really an interview. Unless people are asking questions, I just got to go. And I do have some notes here, but, you know, it takes a little bit to hit go live and frickin' jump out there and, you know, put your heart and your soul and your authenticity and being willing to speak about crying and healing deep traumatic shit that's been with me for a long time. But when we're willing to have these conversations, we make it safe. Hey, Samantha, great to see you. We make it safe for other people to feel like it's safe to share. So this is why private groups can be great. This is why journeying one-on-one is great, because it's totally non-judgmental. I mean, when I'm on a call with people, usually it's the first call and we get into some deep stuff. I can see that they're starting to get tears in their eyes, but they're trying to hold it back. I get tears in my eyes first because I know what that feels like. And it's just like, I love you so much. Yeah. Okay, Sean's got something to share here, so let's check it out. You mentioned the feelings underlying the program is something I learned from counseling, disconnected from our natural emotional discharge mechanism. Yeah. Yawning, shaking, laughing, crying. Yep. by staying with the feeling. Yeah. Yeah, brother. Thank you. Yes, so when I'm doing the breath work and I'm shaking this stuff out and I set my intention before I go into it, that I know I've been judging Jeff for a long time. And it pains me that I've been holding on to that for so long, because I know that affects everything that I magnetize or don't magnetize into my reality. I know it affects my relationships. And even though I think most people that know me would say I'm a kind, loving, pretty easygoing guy, I still get triggered usually when I'm by myself. I don't get triggered around other people. I just don't hang out with people that do that. But if you do, then they're a great teacher and they're perfectly playing their role that you set up in your soul contract. And when you decide enough is enough, if that's what it comes, if you can't heal the relationship and begin to consciously communicate to where you're mirroring each other and everybody's growing and lifting each other up, then it may be time to leave that relationship, whether it's a parent or your best friend for whatever. Not everybody's going to continue to want to step into doing the inner work, but they're going to have to. And everything is here to help us right now. So this is where I'm at. This is what I'm into. And I'm into having fun too. I'm out every day in nature, loving on the dogs and playing music and just doing my best to be grateful. And I still have the stuff come up, but I use these tools every single day. And if you don't have this book, I invite you to get it. It's only $22. It's step by step. It's easy to read. It's not a long read. And you get this tracking sheet, and I guarantee you'll start undoing programs on the very first day. And you'll go, wow, why don't they teach this in school? Well, there's a perfect reason. Because in school, they want to teach you what to think. They don't want you thinking for yourself. And, they want you to be a worker bee for the best years of your life, and then you can become retired when you're 65 or whatever. Retired is a spell word. Re means to recycle. Tired, you know what that means. So this is a time where I come back to what I asked at the very beginning. What are the unique gifts that you're here to share with the world? It could be knitting. It could be diet. It could be helping people learn to be a better parent. It could be working with animals. It could be teaching people music. It could be art. It could be what you're already doing. I'm not judging it. It's just that, do you love what you're doing? And do you believe that you could do that thing that you might not believe that you could do because the world doesn't reward artists or musicians or whatever? Well, you are 100% unlimited. So if you have the belief still that the world doesn't reward musicians, or there's plenty of very wealthy musicians and artists, and some of the musicians, yeah, they had to play the game, maybe sell their soul, who knows? But the bottom line is you are unlimited. And I invite you to write that word down in capital letters and place it on your bathroom mirror or on your refrigerator or whatever, and ask yourself, am I really operating from an unlimited mindset every day? And begin to play with it like a little kid would. Yeah. Yeah, serving is really serving yourself. It's like when I go out and I help these doggies or any of the Thai people, yeah, and I use capital I, capital A-M. I capitalize the heck out of I am, because that's one of the most powerful statements. When I envision my preferred reality, I am wealthy. I am in perfect health. I attract the most incredible people and clients into my reality. Or I have. You see it as if it's already here now. And if your ego goes, it's still not here yet, then you come back and reaffirm, no, it's here. I feel it and I know it, because every single thing you could ever desire already exists now. It's not in the future. There is no future. There's just all these millions and millions of timelines which are actually shifting right now so freaking quick. But everything's slowed down in 3D. So if you desire that relationship or that money or that health or those clients or to travel the world or whatever, it's already done. The only reason it couldn't show up is if you doubt it. Doubt's the biggest spoiler of everything. And I have to play with it too every day. But that's why I use these tools every single day. And I consciously create my reality as soon as I wake up, before I get out of bed. And then I do it before I go to sleep. So, yeah, I'm going to leave you with that. But again, there's an opportunity to come into the activation portal. I know there's millions of groups out there. And, you know, the number one thing is, what's important to you? What is the most important thing to you? And the most important thing to me is raising my conscious awareness and healing and clearing anything that's in the way of my self-worth, my body's health, and my ability to envision and see things that are just unlimited. Unlimited. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that compliment. I really appreciate that. I really take that into my heart. That makes this whole thing worthwhile. Some people probably don't want to hear me speak for hours on end. And I used to do an hour and a half every time, which is on my YouTube channel, Portal to Awakening. I think shorter may reach more people. So this is even longer than I intended to go, but I get going and, you know, I'm passionate. I really intend that people get this because it's truly life-changing. And so I do my best to like repeat it and get it in there, because my mentors, sometimes I had to hear things 100 times because my mind just went, yeah, that's really good. But it didn't go down and start to, it didn't go down as an instruction to my subconscious. And the subconscious is the one that's creating everything. So we got to get past this belief system and really infuse the subconscious with excitement, like a little kid on Christmas or on his birthday. Those presents are already here. Those gifts are already here, always. So a couple of key takeaways. Instead of judging, commit to catching the judgments and stating, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? That shows mastery, because now you're the observer. Whether you're observing horrific things done to the children or all the deception and politics and the medical industry, isn't that interesting? Because you're in your power when you're the neutral, calm, conscious observer. And it's just practice. All of this stuff is practice. The programs have been running for so long that if you're even listening to this right now, high five. Because apparently you're sensing some truth in this stuff. And, you know, your truth is your own truth. And like some of my teachers said, don't believe me, but don't believe yourself either. Question everything. And you'll begin to see, and you will begin to magnetize in all the incredible people. My Facebook feed is the most incredible people sharing tools of conscious awareness, of gathering together, of unity, heart-based stuff. And also, they're not afraid to go in and look at the trauma and the wounds, because that's the clincher. You can be all love and lighter, but if you're not willing to go in and heal that stuff, you're not going to pass go. It's just the way it is. And I'm telling you, for me, and this is why I share, how many guys come on and go, I was crying my ass off. I was screaming during my breath work. I was sobbing uncontrollably because I took myself there because I knew I needed to go there. But how many people will come on and say that? I intend that a lot more do, because there's no shame in crying. It's the greatest healing release, one of them ever. So being vulnerable and being willing to say it, you know, some people might judge me. That's okay. Those aren't my people. And I planted a seed. So maybe later on they go, well, nothing else has worked, so I guess I'm going to do some breath work and, you know, really go in and meet that pain I've been holding on to for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And then they see, oh, wow, what a release. I finally had the courage to go there. So yeah, super key. So anyway, I don't know what else to say. Yeah. So here, I'm just going to pop in a link for the book. For anybody that's interested, it's half price. There's an online course, digital online course with no expiration date that has my PowerPoint presentations where I walk you through it. I show you exactly what the ego does, why it does it, and how to dismantle it. And I invite you to name your ego. I name my ego Larry. Larry's the judger, the automatic reactor, the angry guy. And Larry is my friend now because I love Larry, because Larry's just a part of me. But before, I didn't love him. So when you name your ego, you'll begin to start to see the programs much, much quicker. So if you have the insight to do that, that's another super big key. Isn't that interesting? Instead of judging, how can I serve today? How can I serve today? And how many things can I name off to be grateful for that are most of the things that I take for granted, like light bulbs or my chair or my bed or my pillow or my shower or my toilet or, my toothbrush or my phone or my computer or, start to magnetize yourself with gratitude and then watch how more things begin to get magnetically attracted to you. You can call it synchronicity, you can call it magic, but it's you creating it. So I'll leave you with that. Again, if anybody's interested in getting on a call, reach out. Happy to do it. And big, big love to all of you. Stay excited. We are rocking this dream. And what a great time to be here. Yeah. Until next time, stay excited.